This is not just a meal, not just bread, not just wine. Oh, this is betrayal in motion. This is love about to be broken. This is the Last Supper, a wide shot of ancient Jerusalem under a dark sky. Torches flicker, people move through narrow stone streets. Tension is in the air. Jerusalem was tense. The city boiled with people pilgrims, merchants, soldiers, spies. Everyone had an agenda. And at the center of it all, a man named Jesus. Quick flashes. Jesus walking through a crowd, people whispering, Roman soldiers watching. To some, he was a prophet. To others, a threat. To his followers, he was everything. Two men, Peter and John, move through the city. They spot a man carrying a water jar and follow him. Jesus gave strange instructions. Go into the city. A man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. They did, and they found a room upstairs. Furnished, ready, waiting. A quiet upper room, candles are lit, food is set out, bread, wine, lamb. The disciples gather. They recline around a low table. Jesus sits at the center. That evening, Jesus entered with the 12. They sat, reclined. The air was thick with silence. Something was different. This wasn't just another Passover. Jesus slowly looks at each disciple. Then Jesus spoke. One of you will betray me. Faces turn, shock, fear, denial. Disciples. VO, overlapping whispers. Is it I, Lord? Could it be me? Jesus answered, it is the one who dips his hand in the bowl with me. Judas, expression unreadable, dips bread into a bowl. Jesus turns slightly, eyes on Judas. What you're about to do quickly. Judas gets up, walks out. The door closes behind him. Jesus takes a piece of bread, breaks it, passes it, then lifts the cup of wine. Jesus took bread, gave thanks, broke it. This is my body, given for you. The disciples watch in silence. He took the cup. This is my blood, poured out for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in remembrance of me. Each disciple drinks, still confused, unsure. The disciples quietly argue. Who is the greatest among them? Even now, they miss the point. Jesus stands, takes off his outer robe, wraps a towel around his waist. Jesus kneels. One by one, he washes their feet, hands quiet and gentle. The teacher, kneeling before the students. God, wiping the dust off their skin. He comes to Peter. You'll never wash my feet. Jesus, unless I wash you, you have no part with me. Peter, then not just my feet, my hands and my head as well. Jesus smiles faintly and continues. The disciples and Jesus finish the meal. They stand. Jesus opens the door to the night. When the meal was over, they sang a hymn, then left for the Mount of Olives. A silhouette of Jesus leading them down a moonlit path. Jesus knew what was coming. Arrest, abandonment, whips, thorns, nails. But still, he walked. Fade to black and white close-up of bread, then wine, then the empty room. The Last Supper wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Of a cross, of a grave, of an empty tomb. And even now, over 2,000 years later, that bread, that wine, that story still changes everything. They thought it was over. The man who healed the sick, the man who raised the dead, the man who walked on water, was now hanging on a cross, bloodied, bruised, silent. This is the story of how Jesus died and why he didn't stay dead. Jerusalem was packed. Pilgrims from all over had come for Passover. But while the city celebrated, something darker was moving behind the scenes. The religious leaders had a problem. Jesus, he was too powerful, too popular, too dangerous. The crowds followed him. The people loved him. And worst of all, he claimed to be the Son of God. To them, that was blasphemy. To Rome, it was treason. So they plotted. Jesus knew it was coming. He knelt in the garden, alone while his disciples slept nearby. He prayed, sweating drops of blood. Father, if there's any other way, let this cup pass from me, but not my will. Yours be done. And then came the betrayal. Judas, one of his own disciples, showed up with soldiers. He walked up and kissed Jesus on the cheek. That kiss was the signal. They arrested him in the dark. They dragged him from courtroom to courtroom. False witnesses, twisted words, slaps, spit. "Are you the Son of God?" they demanded. "I am," he answered. That sealed it. They shouted, "Crucify him." But they needed Rome to make it official. So they took him to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate saw the setup. He questioned Jesus and found no crime. He offered to release him. The crowd refused. He gave them one last chance: Barabbas the murderer or Jesus the healer. The crowd shouted, "Give us Barabbas." "And what should I do with Jesus?" "Crucify him." Pilate washed his hands. "I am innocent of this man's blood." But he still gave the order. They stripped him, beat him, pressed a crown of thorns into his head. Then they made him carry his own cross through the streets, stumbling with every step. People watched. Some wept. Others mocked. At a place called Golgotha, they laid the cross down, nailed his hands, nailed his feet, raised him up, and the sky began to darken. For 3 hours, the sun refused to shine. Jesus hung between two criminals. One mocked him, the other believed. And to that one, Jesus said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." He looked down and saw his mother. He said, "Woman, behold your son." Then to his disciple, "Take care of her." And then after hours of pain, he cried out, "It is finished." He breathed his last. The earth shook. Rocks split. The curtain in the temple tore from top to bottom, symbolizing something powerful. The barrier between God and man had been torn down. A rich man named Joseph of Arimathea asked for the body. He wrapped it in linen, laid it in a new tomb, and rolled a stone in front. The Pharisees, still paranoid, told Pilate his disciples might try something: seal the tomb and post guards. So they did. They thought that was the end. 3 days later, some women came to the tomb with spices, but the stone was already rolled away. The guards were gone. The tomb was empty. And inside was an angel. "Why do you seek the living among the dead?" he said. "He is not here. He is risen." They ran. They told the disciples. Peter sprinted to the tomb, saw the grave closed, and left confused. But then Jesus began to appear. He appeared to Mary in the garden. She thought he was the gardener until he said her name. He walked with 2 men on the road to Emmaus. They didn't recognize him until he broke bread. He appeared in locked rooms. To Thomas the doubter, he said, "Touch my hands, feel the wound in my side, stop doubting, and believe." He ate fish with them, talked with them, taught them. Over 500 people saw him alive. Before he left, he gave them a mission. Go into all the world, tell them what you've seen, baptize them, teach them, and remember, I am with you always. Then in broad daylight, he ascended into the sky. The cross was meant to be the end, but it became the beginning. The tomb was supposed to stay sealed, but it became a doorway. Jesus died, but he rose again. And the world was never the same. The death was real, so was the resurrection. And the choice remains. What will you do with Jesus? If this story moved you, subscribe for more. Ancient stories, eternal truths. Thanks for watching.